very special occurrence for this community to be included. There's only a limited number of cities and communities that get races like this. And so I think whether it was the hard work of Laney and the group to get IndyCar's attention, or a combination of that being lucky, who's to say really how that measures up against it? But I will tell you that the persistence of Laney, the big goal vision, I think it's a perfect market for IndyCar. Because it's about entertainment, and this is one of the cities that's part of the entertainment. It's one of the entertainment capitals of the world. It's definitely one of the party capitals.
Yeah. So, on that note, I suppose in terms of what this is going to mean for tourism, about how many tourists generally go to the other cities where the race is held, and about how many are we anticipating for the first Memorial race?
Yeah, I can tell you from my experience generally that the first couple of years we're going to experience a lot of local and regional ticket sales. But beyond that, you're going to have sponsors that travel with teams. You're going to have sponsors, national sponsors that we have for the event, like Verizon. So Verizon will be a contingent of people from around the country. You've got the exposure to the national broadcast, international broadcast. You've got social media that gets churned out. You've also got, obviously, the print, people like yourselves. It just really, the exposure for the community is going to be tremendous.
We want to be here for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, that IndyCar has a strategy to be in the right markets, the sort of sexy, fun, and more major markets. New Orleans isn't the biggest in the world, but it's certainly got a worldwide reputation for being a place that people want to come play and have fun. So that is really important. We know, because I'm from Indianapolis, and we've competed against, I was chairman of our Super Bowl in 2012.
Oh, wow.
So I know Jay, and I know how this community comes together. Once they decide they want something, and they do an excellent job in producing at that point. I know Tim and Wayne and the people here are determined to make this a community event, and if that happens, we know this will be a fabulous event. In terms of the date, spring makes most sense for us. It's warm early compared to northern places that we race, and we're happy that it worked on the calendar here at a time that makes sense for us.
Absolutely. I guess in terms of just the Indy fan base in general, I don't know quite what I would call it, but just, I don't want to say alternative sports, but outside of like the big three, football, basketball, baseball.
Sports.
Sure. What's that? Yeah, all sports, yeah. Action sports have been growing just tremendously over the last 10 years. What, I guess in terms of the New Orleans area or just the South in general, what is your perception of the fan base? And
I think it'll respond great to this event. Again, I think to Mark's point, we're going to throw a party. The IndyCar race is the centerpiece of the entertainment, but it's not the only thing. There will be the centerpiece. So I think part of our mission is to expose to the world, especially in racing, what this park has and how attractive it is. That's part of our mission. Obviously, to be the best IndyCar race in the series, but also to entertain people so that they come back and they convert to IndyCar fans. And Mark and I have talked about this in the past, and his staff, that it's a mission to get people to come out and see the event, and it's a mission to, once they're here, is to convert them throughout the entire season to watch on television. So this is a mission that's a collaboration of a lot of different things. So I think we can. I think the market's going to respond.
Absolutely.
One of the reasons that Verizon became the title sponsor of the series is that they wanted to begin to tell the world that they're not only a telecommunications company, but they're a technology company. And they recognize that this is such a data-rich environment. Racing is technical. Lots of STEM programs for kids are driven by access to cars. And so it's a very rich data environment. We bring in equipment that allows fans access to that and the teams. And Verizon is really important to us in the transmission of that data to those populations.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I know particularly they've introduced that to a lot of other sports recently for tracking. I know they've done it with track and field, and I know they do it with a lot of board sports as well. So
you have MIT graduates that's working these cars. This is a very cerebral sport,
Very sweet.
You know, these teams are populated with very well-paid engineers, often international talent that come in because they're so attracted to technology. You know, I think of it as extreme sport, back to your question.
No, yeah, so do I, absolutely.
And it really is. The drivers are out there on the edge doing unbelievable things. But our kids aren't as enamored with cars as maybe I was. So for us, it's about having them have the access to the sport on the one hand to see what is really going on. And I think that's a great strength of any car. You can go out in the paddock, in the pits, and really see the drivers get close and see exactly what's going on to a remarkable degree, more so than at a PGA Tour event at the major league. The other thing that I think is important in reaching younger people is how we go to market, and the technology and the apps and the resources that we bring to kids, younger people in particular who are more tech savvy, perhaps, is part of the attraction of sport.